Wrapping up 2024, this is the hottest year on human record. January was the hottest January. February was the hottest February. March, April, May, June, July, August were all the hottest months on record as recorded by NASA's data going back to 1880. At the same time, there is overwhelming climate scientific consensus from the IPCC that decarbonization is insufficient, that we also need, alongside massive decarbonization, we also need rapid carbon removal. That is the overwhelming consensus from hundreds of climate scientists, that that is the comprehensive solution to the changing climate. Carbon removal at COP29 this year was a side conversation. Carbon removal continues to be confused with carbon capture, with CCS, with CCUS, despite removal's unique and critical role in reversing climate change. So if nothing changes, without a focus on carbon removal at COP30 in Brazil, carbon removal is going to continue to be a minor topic. We're going to see corporate budgets shrink. We're going to see investments shrink because of that. Some of the earliest people who have really gone for it, they're not going to be getting the backup that they need to continue. And so the startups are going to go out of business, and we're going to lose solutions that we really need to have to get that comprehensive solution to the changing climate. So imagine instead we host a massive carbon removal pavilion in Brazil at COP 2030 next year. It serves as a central hub for policymakers, for companies, for startups, for champions to collaborate on advancing carbon removal. Imagine we've got Stripe, Shopify, Microsoft, Heirloom, Climeworks, Lithos, Isometric, Puro. We've got representatives and leaders from the EU, from the United States, from the IPCC, from all over the world, establishing that carbon removal is the required piece of the climate solution alongside decarbonization, in line with everything that the United Nations has been putting out. Imagine that that pavilion is really a beacon inside COP30 to light up conversations in other pavilions, at the EU pavilion, the United States pavilion, the China pavilion, all talking about carbon removal and establishing what actions they want to take, announcing new funding mechanisms from private sources, from public sources, for research and development and scale, for new corporate pledges, purchasing carbon removal, providing that demand signal that investors are waiting for governments to commit to integrating carbon removal into their national climate strategies. That's where we arrive at COP30, coming out with a position for reversing climate change, for removing gigatons of carbon dioxide, for removing 1 billion tons of carbon by 2030, and for carbon removal having the impact that we know it can have. So my question for you is, do you want to be involved in this in some way? Maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I really would love to be a part of this. Hit reply. Would love to have you be involved, and would love to hear from you. Secondly, we're doing this. We're hiring a project manager, an events manager for this project. We're looking for somebody to commit half-time, part-time for the first 6 months and full-time for the second 6 months. It's likely somebody who speaks Portuguese fluently. They're probably based in Brazil, or they're looking to travel to Brazil regularly. We're looking for somebody that's passionate about carbon removal. There is a job application up. This is in partnership with the negative emissions platform that's really leading this. They're bringing this together. And Sebastian Manhart, who, like me, is helping spread the word about this, so you can go check it out. So if there's somebody that you know, if you're like, wait, I don't speak Portuguese, but I know the perfect person for this, send them this message so that we can connect with them. And if this is something that you want to be involved with in any other way, would love to hear from you and anybody else that wants to get connected. So hit reply, and I look forward to continuing this conversation and arriving at the end of COP30 with a completely new vision for what's possible for carbon removal.